So the Dodgers returned home from Tokyo after taking two from the Cubs in Tokyo, Japan, which was, I mean, quite a. We'll get into that. I mean, it was quite a scene to see, and everything that went on in Tokyo, Japan. It was something that, I mean, I had never seen, especially with the way the Dodgers were received there. Actually, the way both teams were received there. But we'll get into that in an all new episode of the Bleedos podcast, Carne Asada edition.
For the Bleedos podcast.
Joining me this time, as you guys are familiar now with the show, we have Lalo, Drea, and joining us for the first time is Anthony. And I want to introduce Anthony. He's been helping us with some of the graphics you've been seeing. I'm doing some great stuff on the graphic side for us, but I wanted to just have him on, get his take on everything that's going on. Anthony, man, how you doing?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to help. Excited for Dodger baseball. I know we got a taste of real games for the first time. Kind of disappointed that this weekend don't count, but here to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things too. That we'll discuss about this Tokyo series. They went over their two games. They played their two games. Well, actually, they played four, right? The two exhibition games and then the two real games, and then they come back home, and they're off a couple of days, and they're going to start up with three more exhibition games, right, against the Angels, and then they'll jump back into the season. But before all that, I mean, I want to just kind of get your thoughts on what you guys thought overall of the Tokyo series from when the Dodgers arrived there, from the games, kind of, I don't know if you saw on their social media, everything that they were doing outside of the stadium, how they were interacting, with fans, how the fans were receiving them in Tokyo. And like I said, I don't think it was, majority, obviously, they were there for the Dodgers, but even the Cubs, obviously, they had their fan base. They have Shota and Suzuki on there that are Japanese born players. So it was a great series overall, I think, for baseball. What did you guys think of the Tokyo series?
Well, I'll tell you what, I know that it was cool to see that there's so much discipline within the fans. They're a lot more reserved, right? And I like that they pay attention, right? And they're nice and calm. But then one thing that I thought was kind of cool that I kind of miss over here in the major leagues is that they have a certain section alongside the baselines where they don't have the netting as high as other places, and they purposely do that so that you can get a better feel where you don't have the net in front of you. And that was where Rodney Pete was, where he actually caught that foul ball from Muncy, which, by the way, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't think he stole it from him. It feels to me like the glove was below.
It was on the foul ball. It was on the on the south side, so he was definitely entitled to the ball.
Right. But I kind of feel like his moving forward kind of threw Muncy off. I'm not saying he stole it from him. He had every right to be there, but I think it did distract Muncy. So I think Muncy did get a little.
But too, at the end of the day, I think if maybe the next pitch, end up hitting a home run, then I think everybody would be like, "What the heck?"
Right.
It all worked out. So in the end, it was it was a cool moment, right?
Right, but it was great overall. I thought it was cool to see all the guys out there running around. A lot of Dodger fans went over there without even going to the game, so that was cool and interesting to see. I had my nephews and nieces went out there, and I had a cousin that went out there, and just to be part of that scene, So it was nice overall because what you guys were saying that it broke records of viewership. So anything like that is going to be great for the game of baseball, great for the Dodgers, and it was awesome to see.
No, I think it was amazing. I think it was kind of cool to see the almost home run or maybe it was a home run. I don't know, but you could definitely see the crowd in Japan get very excited when they hear the crack of Shohei's bat. That's absolutely my favorite sound when I go to Dodger Stadium. And
you're talking about Shohei's home run? That was a home run.
Shohei, yeah. I agree it was a home run.
I saw. They haven't mentioned it so much, but I saw someone was saying that the ball actually hit the roof, and then it came down kind of to where it came down at. I mean, and if you notice Joe Davis's reaction when he hit that ball, it sounded like that ball was just crushed, right? But then it ended up kind of just making, getting to the wall, like, where the fan reached over. So it's just like, wait, why did he kind of react like it was? So it makes sense if that ball would have hit the roof and then kind of came back down.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
So,
he
like,
did that before. If you look at footage of Shohei in Tokyo, he hit the ball went through the roof before. I believe he's been known to do that, so it's not unheard of. But
Wow.
yeah, that was an amazing moment because we all love Shohei home runs, and I think that one of the reasons why there was such a high merchandise total was because of the biggest one was Shohei jerseys. So the 40 was it $40 million in sales?
Good
That is
Lord.
incredible. And I mean, nothing even has ever come close to that. So record breaking, and it's the Japanese market. So very exciting.
Yeah, I have some numbers you get into, but Anthony, what did you think overall of that series?
For me, at least, I have a different perspective on it because actually I was in Japan in November.
Okay.
So immediately after the parade and like celebrations, like a day or two later, we flew out, and it's kind of a different like feeling over there because they're very big in the Japanese league. We went into a few like baseball stores and we asked them like, oh, like we were wearing our Dodger gear, of course. Like they knew who Ohtani was, but like, and Yamamoto, but that was about it. They were more interested in their Japanese teams. So from a perspective, when we lost to, I forget the name of the team.
The Tigers.
Tigers, yeah. And it immediately came to my head. I'm like, oh, the guy we went to when we were trying to buy gloves, he was a big Tigers fan. So he's pretty much like celebrating this victory. Like my mind went immediately to him. It's like, oh, he's celebrating this victory like really hard. Their culture over there is very baseball dominant. At least what I noticed, because it's their number one sport there. It's baseball. Right. They basically live, breathe, and die baseball. So it's kind of interesting to see how like they live it over there and their culture. And like when you're watching the games, like something I do like miss, especially like with the World Baseball Classic, is how they bring drums and like they have like music. They bring a live feel to it. Hopefully we can have that here, like in our stadium. But I don't know. I like the organ. The organ's nice, but something about like fan created noise is like it brings a different level of
Yeah.
Did you see? And I don't think they did it so much in the Cubs games, but when they were playing the teams from Japan, the crowd reacts in a different way. I guess they were saying like, when their team was, I believe it's hitting, right? It's really quiet, right? They'll be, and then opposite on the other team that they make that noise. They got their drums and they're just getting really loud. So we kind of touched on this. I remember kind of one of the first episodes when I was telling you about with some of the international baseball. You kind of see that with other international. I've seen it in the DR when they're doing the Serie de Caribe a couple, last month or 2 months ago. So they get really into it, and it's really cool to see how the fans are a part of it. I saw somebody saying that fans, here in the US, we go to games, right, to watch games, but their fans actually go to be a part of the games when they're there. So it's really cool to see. But like we were mentioning, Anthony said, how they're so into it. So there was a press release today from MLB. So 25 million viewers across all platforms, making it the most watched MLB game ever in Japan.
Wow.
So, I mean, and then the second game averaged more than 23 million viewers. So that was the first game, 25, and then 23. Even the exhibition games had, 18 million viewers. The merchandise sales, Tokyo Series recorded the best merchandise sales in any MLB international event in history, eclipsing the biggest international event at the time was the 2024 London Series by 320%. So, I mean, it was huge. I mean, it's definitely, I know MLB saw that and they're like, you think of that meme or whatever, where you see the eyeballs like flashing like dollar signs, right? They got to be happy with this. But, going forward, I mean, I don't know if they plan to do, more another, Tokyo Series. I mean, I think the last time that they went, it'd been a while since they've gone to Tokyo. But now when you got a team like the Dodgers, they're gonna be a team that you're gonna want, especially the people in Japan are gonna want to see them come over there. And yet, I was hearing, obviously it's not gonna happen like next season. Next season is WBC time again. So, but it is something that I think going forward we might be seeing more of this. But I did want to ask you guys though about kind of how'd you feel about the exhibition games, then the 2 games, and then they're coming back home, and then they're going to rest and then play the 3 games against the Angels. How does that kind of make you feel about how that works?
It's a little dicey because I mean they did the same thing last year, right after Korea, and I mean I don't know. I guess they have to count over there. I'm not sure because I mean I think the fans over there want to see a real game, right? They don't want to see something that doesn't mean anything overall. So it makes sense in that aspect. But I know they still have a few more games here, which is the Freeway Series coming up. So I'll be at one of the games and just to hang out. I love to, I just love baseball. So I'll be at that one, but it's a little dicey. I don't care much for it, but I don't think it changed much about last year, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to change much about this year. But I am excited to see 2 Cy Young Award winners go head to head at the opener. So that's going to be great. It's going to be Scooball from last year, and then of course it looks like Snell's going to get the nod. So as far as that question, I don't know. I'm not sure which way to think about it, one way or the other.
I like the idea of seeing the Angels as like more of like, okay, it's tradition. I went to the first one last year when Bobby Miller pitched, and they don't play all of the top end starters. They have
Right.
the guys come in that would be maybe option to AAA or more of a prospect. So you're going to see them probably one last time, but it kind of lacks the excitement when a game starts counting and then it stops counting and then it counts again. But I do like seeing Shohei with the Angels. You kind of see how he greets them because it was a part of his life for 6 years, and to see like kind of where he's come from, where he is now. I just think that it's kind of just fun to see a little piece of Shohei's past out there too. So I like it.
For me, I see it more like the 2 games counted, and it's kind of weird that they have to get back into spring training mode. But for a lot of those guys, they're still trying to make the last man on the roster. So,
yeah.
So from standpoint, at least from the Angels haven't made moves as of late. But for the Dodgers, those like fringe guys are trying to like show like, hey, like I deserve this last roster spot. So they're gonna go out there and compete these last couple games before it really does matter. I just wish it counted. It's bad that we got so excited. We were all up at 3 a.m. for these 2 games, and then we're back to like spring training games. Like we all know, like the top guys are going to probably play like maybe an inning or 2 and call it a day, and then there's going to be like AAA guys out there. But we just something we have to deal with. I'm glad they're going to be at home at least for a while, so
right,
get that jet lag off them for a while, so they don't have to worry about traveling here and there.
Yeah, you want them to rest a little bit because it can't be easy to travel to Japan and then try to get back to the eating schedule, the sleep schedule, their regular batting practice. And so you don't want them to go right into a game that counts after, going through the transition. But yeah, it's kind of sad for us because we want to see daily Dodger baseball. And
the reason
Thursday.
I was asking you guys about kind of the games counting because I don't know if you're also aware that MLB is actually going to be in Monterrey, Mexico on I think in like 3 days, 24 and 25th. So they're just playing exhibition games, and I think it's the Red Sox, and they're playing the Sultanes de Monterrey, and they're just exhibition games. So obviously that's a lot closer, but they're just exhibition games. Do you really think the people in Japan are kind of gonna? Does it matter like if they're real games or they're exhibition games? Does it make sense? I mean, I don't know.
I think just from the standpoint of having the stars in there is probably more important to them. I mean, I'm pretty sure they don't care like overall the regular season. It's 162 games. I'm not even sure that they understand it the way we do. I'm not even sure how their league works, but I think it's important that they at least get to see the major leaguers. I know that if they came to my town, I would want to see the best guys and not just the exhibition. So for them, I think it was awesome. For us, to go back and forth. It was weird when they did it last year, and I'm a bit indifferent about it, I guess.
So were you guys up? Were you guys up for those games? Or I mean, I know you guys like have jobs that you have to be up pretty early. But were you guys able to catch, or did you catch one on the replay?
No, I woke up. My alarm for my job woke me up like around 5 a.m. and luckily I was able to catch the first game, like the last 3 innings, and then the second game I think I caught like maybe 2 innings. But yeah, no, I just couldn't do. My brother was up. He was actually upset. Like, man, I stayed up and like we're getting no hit through like 5 innings, and then I'm like,
first game,
the first the Dodgers in the 5th inning, they exploded for offense. Like, oh, you know what? I didn't mind staying up.
They like the 5th inning.
Yeah,
They love the 5th inning. That's the inning.
Well, luckily I have a boss that loves to watch the games, so we were watching the replays at work. So that is another one. That's actually my main outlet throughout the days. My boss really loves to watch it, and we got a TV in the office, so no matter what, we're gonna have the game going. If it's a day game or whatever's going on, we're gonna be watching games there.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I'm totally cool with it as well as far as, if they count. I think obviously it's cool. Like Lalo was saying, like, if they would have been like spring training games, right? You probably don't see the same type of players in there, and the fans would miss out on that. Obviously the times, the start times are a little tough, right? 3 a.m. here in LA.
Yeah.
Was it 5 like in Chicago? I was up. So the way I did it is, because and you can find this on our YouTube. There's a lot of pre-game and post-game interviews with some of the players and the managers. They're up on YouTube. So those are happening at about 12 and 1 o'clock. Actually 11 and 12. Like the night, right before the game was going to start. So recording those, putting those on YouTube. So by 1 I was done, and then from 1 to 3, and I'm like, okay, let me try and sleep. Couldn't really sleep. I was already kind of like amped up, ready for the game. Right, game's coming up. So then the game would start. I watched the entire game. Then the game would finish I think it was close to 6.
Yeah,
6 in the morning, and then like I said, the post game interviews. So did all that, got them recorded, put them up on YouTube, and then so I was done like by 7. And technically, I usually get up for 8 for my job, but I work from home, so I kind of I kind of just slept in to I think till 10, like on both days. But that was the only thing. Like those couple of days, you kind of feel like, man, like you kind of just feeling like a zombie. But I mean, it was definitely cool. Like I said, just the entire event, especially people in Japan, people that went to go see it, it was an unforgettable event.
Yeah, we're up 2-0, so it was worth it. I think I would have felt differently about waking up early if we had lost, and wouldn't have been as happy. But yeah, we still can go 162-0, boys. So it's still on the table.
on the table.
Right?
That's wild.
One can drink.
All right, let's make a prediction. Let's all make a prediction on the wins for the year.
Ooh.
What do you think, Anthony? Come on. Throw a number out there. What do we think?
Let's circle back to the end. Let's give you guys some time to think about that.
Okay.
We'll come back
all right, cool.
We'll
I think I got my number.
We'll touch it back at the end, later on, see how close we get.
All right.
But obviously, right, Dodgers are the champions, and kind of with you're the champion, you get spoiled, right? You get the spoils, right? You get all the things as for being a champion. And one of those things is they get special jerseys, special hats that they're going to wear. I don't know exactly if they're going to maybe wear it that entire first couple games, or for sure they'll wear it on the ring ceremony night, which is we're recording this on a Friday night, which is actually a week from tonight. So those gold jerseys drop, and I don't know if you saw on the internet a couple of days ago, it seemed like they leaked, and it was the correct leak. It was them, kind of showed what they was. And today, if you go on MLBshop.com, Fanatics, Dodgers Clubhouse, you'll see them. It's basically it's a Dodgers jersey, Dodgers logo on the front in gold. The name is outlined in blue. The numbers in gold, outlined in red. Numbers are in gold, and then there's a World Series patch on the side. But overall, what do you guys think? If you remember in 2020 that it was the Dodgers logo in front, but it was in blue, I believe outlined in gold. So a little bit of difference and variation. What do you guys think about this year's versions?
I like it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Anthony?
It might be a little bit too much with the gold, but also I kind of like it. I remember the one from previous year, 2020. The outline was nice, but I just felt like it was lacking gold. It was lacking that pop out. it just felt like a different like alternative jersey. This one now feels kind of more special, if that makes sense.
When it leaked,
Yeah,
I thought it was kind of I'm like, I don't know if I like this. But then when
Yeah.
you saw the drop today on, social media and the commercial that went with it, and you saw the clubhouse models, it actually looked really nice. I think it does pop, like you said. So, I'm probably going to drop $195 for it, but you got to do it. We won the World Series. And
Well,
I already
I
did.
think
I ordered my Freeman one.
Yeah, and which one did you
Yeah.
get? Did you get the $200? Because I think the
Yeah.
authentics are a little bit more, right? They're like $400.
Yeah.
Like the on-field ones, yeah. So they're quite pricey.
it's pricey. But,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
I mean,
look, they're cute, but they're gonna be cute on you guys because I don't know if I can handle white for so long. I need my white to stay super white, otherwise I won't wear them. so there's no way I'm going after one of these. That's for sure.
Well, they have the T-shirts that are in blue, like the gold edition with
there's
the gold
T-shirts that are blue with gold, and
They have
the
some
hats.
sweaters as well too.
sweaters.
Throw
The hat-
that in your cart, Andrea. I'm a medium. Okay.
I mean, this one's going to need to get a second job just to buy all of the jerseys that I keep wanting, and it's
and if you haven't seen the hats are basically. Do you have Anthony? Do you have the championship patch? The championship hat?
This
Or
one,
am I saying
this
things?
is the one from
With the World Series.
Yeah.
On the is it this year's?
Yeah.
So it's essentially that hat, but with a gold logo on the front. So that's the version of the hat that they'll be wearing, the on-field hat. So definitely, I think I'll be for sure picking up the hats. Sometimes I just buy them just to have them, right? And I think I bought like an extra one from 2020 that I haven't touched. It's just kind of there. Just I don't know why. Just to hold on to them, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to next Friday night. I think that's going to be a cool, very cool celebration. If you remember how they did 2020, I believe when they had somebody was introducing each player, like it was friend, family member, or whatever, was introducing each player. So we'll see how they do it this year.
Those rings are going to be so amazing. I can't wait to see that. So that's going to be a good night.
I wonder if they bring Ice Cube back.
Ooh.
Yeah,
They are doing an Ice Cube bobblehead this year.
That is right. Yeah, I'm a bobblehead aficionado, so that's going to be me there grabbing my Ice Cube. But like I told you earlier, that Freddy's going to be amazing.
I think they'll need to do like the double. Remember when they had Agon and Turner do the picture, the selfie one? They need to have one with Dave Roberts shaking his rump right behind him. So that way you could put them together, and they could be like both like just rubbing butts or something.
Yeah.
But that would be cool.
Yeah, he was feeling himself that day. He didn't care.
Yeah. He was letting his freak flag flow. That's for sure.
So before we move on, I forgot to we have to thank our sponsor, BetOnline. Andrea,
Yes.
you have a special message from BetOnline for us, correct?
Yeah, we got to give our credit to BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to a $200,000 bracket contest, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Wow.
It's getting better. Practicing.
Every single
March Madness. Do you guys do any of that March Madness stuff?
Yeah, I made a bracket.
Is it busted?
Yeah, it's been busted.
Everybody's bracket gets busted right away. Right?
It's like after the first game, it's like a majority. I mean, you get that first upset, and it's like, well, like
over
95% of the brackets were busted with that first game. So it's like, yeah, I don't do much college bet. Sometimes I'll turn it on just because it's when you see like those buzzer beaters, right? You'll get like some crazy upsets.
Great background noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, But yeah,
Right, and once you're in the second or third round, you start getting that Cinderella story, and then that's when I'll pay attention to that one. At least that one, because it's nice to see some of them get close. You haven't had one win it yet, but sooner or later somebody should.
so
For sure. Yeah,
I
it's
wanted to
gonna
ask you guys. I don't know if you guys play Fortnite. You have kids that play Fortnite, family that plays Fortnite, right? I don't know if you guys saw there was a new drop, a new a new skin as they call it, of kind of somebody that we know in LA, right? It's the new Shohei Otani skin, which I know my son, he's all into Fortnite, and he was like, as soon as it was announced, he was like on it. He wanted to get it. He wanted to get it, and then he actually didn't even get. He barely got it today, so he's like playing it today. But I mean, I think it's another thing, right? Just another thing of Shohei Otani that you're marketing him, marketing the Dodgers, right? He's wearing the Dodgers uniform. But I mean, what did you guys think of seeing Shohei Otani with Fortnite now?
It's awesome. I mean, they even have Decoy in there. Am I right? They got
Yeah.
the dog.
Yeah.
Is Decoy is his own marketing machine. But I've been a teacher for over 20 years, and that's what the kids talk about. Fortnite is a common theme in my classroom discussions. Like they talk about it, they play it. So what better way to get another set of people's eyes on baseball that maybe wouldn't have normally watched baseball, and now they know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a good deal. It's nice to see that the youngsters can relate to us here and there, So, I start to feel old when you turn on the radio and it talks about the oldies, and that's all the jams that we grew up with, and it's like, wow, I have students myself, and then sometimes I bring up a song and they have no clue what I'm talking about, and it sounds crazy. But now, it's nice to see that the Dodgers are breaking through and Major League Baseball is getting someplace very popular. So anything that can bring us to the spotlight is good news for all of us, I think.
Just goes to show like the level of star that Ohtani is, because just like another like few skins off the top of my head is like LeBron, Patrick Mahomes. So it has to be like a certain level of star, and Fortnite obviously knows that Ohtani's that guy, at least in Major League Baseball. It's not like they have like another star. It's Ohtani, obviously. For me, I'm not going to be playing much Fortnite. I sadly retired. Someone told me once, like, the kids will let you know when it's time to retire, and like, it's very much time to retire. So like,
they let you know. They let you know, Anthony.
Yeah, it was over. It was over. I knew immediately too. Like when you can hear through the microphone, you can hear someone younger, and you was like, "Oh, this kid probably doesn't even like have bills to pay or anything. Like, what am I doing here?" Yeah, it was time to like just hang him up, basically. But
that's classic.
maybe this was like if it happened like 3 years ago, maybe I would have bought it. But like now, it's more cool just to see it now.
So there was a video that I saw that I tweeted it out. I thought it was I saw it. I thought it was funny, right? I giggled.
Put it out there. Let's check it out.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, I giggle at the end because I think it's just funny. Let me play it for you guys.
Play it. I want to giggle.
Watch this. Look. Keep watching. Give it a second. It's the guy from Fortnite.
I mean, so it's so true, right? Like for this younger generation that maybe they're not Dodger fans, they're not baseball fans, right? And they saw this new skin come out, like, hey, who's this guy, right? Why is he in a baseball uniform, right? And then all of a sudden they see him playing a baseball game, right? I think it's another cool marketing move that's just going to grow the Dodgers, the Dodger brand, right? Kind of, they were talking about this too when they went to Japan, right? One of their things that they wanted to do was they wanted to turn Japan blue, right? For Dodger blue, they want to paint Japan blue, and I think Dave Roberts is one of saying like, I think we've accomplished that. When they're over there, like we've accomplished that. So, I mean, what they're doing is now it's like a global thing right there in Japan. They're getting into these video games, so it's like everybody's kind of gonna be aware of who are the Dodgers, who is Shohei Ohtani, who is his team. And I think it's just as years go on, I mean, sky's the limit.
No, it really is. I mean, Shohei is already what, a combination of the Beatles, Elvis, Michael Jackson, wherever he goes in Japan. I mean, I was watching all of the social media drops from, Sujo, who is incredible with the Dodgers, and she does an incredible job with their social media, and just everyone who was just, over there. You can't walk, what, 2 feet without seeing Shohei on a billboard
He's on
or, on a
billboards, vending
product,
machines, keychains,
everything.
you name it.
And it's selling. And they said that there was an estimated there was just one big store there that they were selling the merch. And I saw this on Foul Territory, 140 registers with 11,000 transactions per hour of just merch, which is obviously contributing to the 40 million that we were talking about. And the biggest sale being Shohei merch. So, I mean, he's global. He sells, I think he's paid off his contract and then some when you think about just what he's bringing in revenue and allowing the Dodgers to get all of the sponsorships, and so much so that when they even play away games, Japan is buying ad revenue and for the other stadiums. So everyone's making money off this man.
I heard something that he's going to be making about 100 million just
Million.
on marketing this year alone. So I mean that kind of makes you realize, well, why, when you think about his contract, and like, well, why did he defer all that money and only taking 2 million? He doesn't need the contract essentially.
Anthony, when you went in last year, did you get a sense of all that?
Yeah, he was everywhere. Like billboards, advertising, like teas, like certain like things like for healing, like you name it. Basically, he was everywhere, and like people recognized him. Like we would say, because they would see us and they would ask us like, "Where are you from?" We say Los Angeles, and it'd be like, "Oh, Ohtani," and like, "Yeah, Ohtani, yeah." He's basically everywhere. It's like weird to describe. He's like a superhero to them, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's
crazy.
like it's weird to like describe it like that, but it's very true. He's like out of this world, basically, like a unicorn, basically.
Right. Well, the average man, and I imagine, I'm not sure how tall you are, but I imagine you probably felt tall over there. Just that,
Yeah.
with your I can imagine him. He's
Yeah.
a beast. Wow.
Yes. And a lot of going back to some of the interviews that we have, Alicia Del Valle is over there. We have our Japanese host Kohei, who's also, they went to the series. They got to talk to a couple players. They talked to Eric Carroll, Stan Kasten, and they were asking them about Shohei, kind of what were they kind of going in, what were their thoughts, kind of what were their expectations were, and then being there now and seeing it, and everybody, from Kasten to like Vesia, and I think we have one with Anthony Banda too. It's just they knew kind of like, in their head, okay, this is kind of what to expect. But once they got there, it kind of just blew all that out of the water. Just the amount of celebrity status that he has there. And, Anthony Banda was talking about just like, it's, even he's like, he sees them and he's like, he's a fan of it. Right. And, he thinks it's so cool that he just gets, he gets to come in and gets to talk to this guy. Just, and at the end of the day, he's like down to earth with all these guys. Right. He's a regular guy. But just in Japan, just he's revered. When we mentioned that to Dave Robertson, he said the same thing. He's just revered over there. He's on a different level, and it's amazing to see. And and we've seen that. Now when you come back to LA, like I've told you guys, and there's a bobblehead night coming up in the first week of the season. Last year when it was his first bobblehead. I covered that game, so I was there early, maybe about 1:30, 2 o'clock, going up Vince Scully Drive to the main entrance there. There was a line of people that were already lining up, just walking in, not even in cars, just walking in on the side down and then going down the street. So I'd imagine that's how it's going to be on this next bobblehead night, which is going to be his MVP bobblehead. So if you got tickets, make sure you're there early.
Well, I happen to have tickets, so I will be there. I took the day off of work, so I'll be in LA early. Go get some of my mom's home cooking, in Baldwin Park. So I'll stop by there first, and then head over to the stadium and just post up. That's it. Take it all in. So maybe I'll get a little interview here and there from some Maniac fans.
That should be super fun. I might catch you there. We'll do our selfie and post it because I definitely there that night. I'm a diehard on bobblehead nights, but you got to think like going back to those interviews. Dave Roberts said it. He said he puts his pants on the way we all do, one leg at a time. But he's the closest thing to what a superhero that he described him as. I think that was his quote.
He called him an Avenger in that interview. He called him an Avenger. Then another interview where he called him like a superhero, a Superman.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's otherworldly, and you have to think like the question is, did we underpay him? Is $700 million a deal for him? I mean, could he have made $1 billion and still been worth it? And he's that profitable, that amazing, and we haven't even seen him pitch yet.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I mean, going back to like who the big free agent this past winter, what Juan Soto. I mean, there's no way Juan Soto is making. He's making it more than Shohei Pitt. No way he's worth more than Shohei Ohtani. Just overall,
I mean,
even if you just took the base, even just on the field, like so just for what he does on the field, I mean, Soto's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, defensively, he's not that great. He's a liability out there. He doesn't pitch, right? And then now we're going to get to see that from Ohtani. And just like I said, what Ohtani does off the field, I mean, just there's no way. I mean, it doesn't compare.
No, I think Cohen was just trying to prove a point. He wanted his man. He promised his fan base that he was going to go for the World Series. And the Mets did get close. They're not a bad team. And Soto's no way he's a bad player. But yeah, his defense leaves more to be desired for sure. But at the same time, how is he going to pay that contract back for the Mets? He's can bring in money. He's going to sell jerseys, but it's going to be nowhere near the market that Shohei will, be profitable for the Dodgers. It's not comparable at all. So that's going to be an interesting contract, and he will not be, that's 15 years, and he will not be playing at that level for 15 years.
We'll see, and we'll see how that contract ends up for them.
Yeah.
But going back to what we're talking about, kind of the champions, they get the spoils. Another cool thing that's coming out, which will happen next Friday on the ring ceremony night, they dropped the trailer for Apple. It's going to be on Apple TV. Is the documentary of the World Series. And if you've had a chance to watch the trailer, I mean, it's one of those things that just takes you back. And it's going to be so cool because when you see those documentaries of like, now you're in there with them and kind of see everything that's going on. It's going to be great to relive that. That's going to come out. It's called Fight for Glory, and it's next Friday. It's going to be on Apple TV. Have you guys have you seen the trailers for that?
Yeah, I checked out the trailer. I thought it was funny. There's a clip on there. I don't know if it's coaches or players from the Yankees. They're saying like 100% walk him here when they're talking about Mookie. And it's funny, like laughing in hindsight, what happens like a few seconds later. But yeah, I'm looking forward to like stuff like that, like the behind kind of stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, when you go back to, yes, everybody, that was the right move, right? That's the right move. You kind of got to do that, right? If you're playing, that's the move you do, right? But when you look at it too, it's like really you want to walk him to face another MVP, right? And that's the beauty of this Dodgers lineup, right? You walk Shohei, well, you got another MVP right there in Mookie, right? You walk Mookie, you have another MVP in Freddie Freeman coming up behind. Even if you want to walk Freddie Freeman, you have another slugger there in Teoscar, right? So it's like pick your poison, right? That's how it's going to be. Yeah.
It's deep. I mean, if you're not an MVP, you're an all-star on this team all the way to the end practically. So it's going to be amazing. We were talking earlier, Lalo, about how many walk-offs are there really going to be this season? Because, I mean, are we going to be that behind?
We won't be set up for that kind of action. But because I think last year there were 7. So that's kind of a low number already as it is. But so this year we'll see. We got to get our numbers for walk-offs, all right, and we got to get our numbers for total wins, all right. So get ready, guys. I want to see who gets closest.
I'm gonna try. I'll bet with you guys and see what we do. Make our bold predictions.
I'm ready for mine. I think I know what I got. I think I know my numbers. I'm going with 5 walk-offs. I'm going with 5 walk-offs.
We'll come back to it. We still got a little bit.
All
You
right, all right, cool.
We got
Okay,
a little
hold
bit
on.
of news
I
to
take
hit.
that back. I take that back. I wasn't going to say 5.
All right, still got a little bit of news, but a bit of news also to the former Dodger player Julio Urias finally got the news finally came down of what his penalty was going to be for his suspension or whatever they were going to give him. They're going to hold him accountable for the incident that he had. Was it? I'm trying to forget how long ago was that. It was a little over a year ago, right? Over a year ago, right?
I think 2022.
The domestic, yes.
Think,
So
yeah.
his domestic violence incident. So you didn't hear anything about it. And after it happened, right? There was a police investigation, everything we know what happened there, and then but MLB hadn't said anything until today, and then basically they came out and said they concluded their investigation and they have suspended him until the end of the All-Star break this year, 2025. So after 2025, after the All-Star break this year, 2025, he is free to sign with any team, if any team obviously will take that risk on him. For me personally, I think it's kind of a slap on the wrist because now Julio, if you go back, Julio already had a violation, right? A couple years ago, he apologized. Everybody thought everything was good, and then obviously this happened, at that LAFC game. So now it's the second, but he's the only player that's had two incidents, 2 violations. So I was expecting they're probably gonna really lay down the law, right? Year suspension, 2-year suspension, whatever it is, right? And it ends up it's going to be a couple months, right? And they didn't mention, and I've heard this prior with other guys that have been punished. They'd give them okay, we'll give them whatever 60 games because of time served, right? They'd go back to however long they were on leave, but they didn't say that with Julio. So it seemed kind of odd to me that just to the end of the All-Star break, he's free to go ahead and sign with any team if any team will sign him. Just wanted to get you guys just initial thoughts of that, of that, I guess, that punishment. What were your thoughts on that?
Sad.
Well, I think what it's going to come down to is his approach on what he comes back and says. If he comes back apologetically and really is trying to repent and understand and just kind of throw it out there, that he made a huge mistake and do something about his problem. I wouldn't mind seeing him back, but I do think that a lot of that is going to depend on what his approach is, because I think the teams are going to weigh out whether or not the fans are going to accept him, and that's going to depend a lot about on his approach, because it's going to come down to brass tacks. These a lot of teams could sure use him, right? He's great. He's a great player. He was fixing to make a huge deal for himself. He was about to become a free agent, and he did some great things for us, and he's still capable. It's just going to come down to whether or not the fans are going to accept him or not. So I don't think it's going to happen in LA, that's for sure. But it's going to depend on him, on what his approach is and what he's going to say about coming back and how he's going to make changes, and whether or not he's going to be vocal about his ability to make a change.
I don't think a team's going to touch him, to be honest with you. Now, I could be very wrong, but we all saw what happened with the Trevor Bauer situation. And
Right.
there's a video here, and it's messy. It's not debatable. It didn't look good for him. And this was his second time. Maybe if we're talking about the first time and he really came out like he did. He apologized, but he really took advantage of the fact that he was forgiven the first time by a fan base which really did love him. In all essence, he was the heir apparent to Fernando, right? We brought him over, he's from his, had Mexican heritage, and, he was really beloved in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
And everyone had his jersey, and, I really feel like he really fumbled the most amazing opportunity to go down in Dodgers lore as an incredible, representative for the Chicano culture. So I just find it a very sad situation because I don't see it coming out on his end in a positive way.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was kind of shocked that he only got till the All-Star break. I would have assumed they'd probably give him like the year. And then like going forward, I just don't see him pitching in baseball again, at least major league wise. I don't know if any team is willing to take that risk. Maybe there's always one team that might want to take it, but why would you like separate your like female fans from like your core?
Right.
It's like you're basically making that decision, like saying like, yeah, we don't care like what he did. He's gonna help us win like X amount of games. So personally, I think he's done in Major League Baseball. He might play like here and there, maybe back in Mexico or somewhere else, but I just don't see it. I don't see a team willing to take that risk. And it's a shame too, because like I didn't have a chance to see Fernando grow up. And when this guy came up, I remember when he made his debut against the Mets, and like he had a pretty rough debut. But I always thought like, oh, it's like only 16. Like I can't imagine like you're going from Mexico and like here you're gonna throw against the Mets at 16 years old. So it was kind of cool to see his journey, and like he just tarnished his legacy because he was forgiven that first time. And you would think that first time you're like, okay, I know I messed up. I'll never do it again. And then he goes and he does it, and it's on camera. It's like we have the footage. We all saw the footage. And it's really bad. It's really ugly. I just don't see him ever like pitching in Major League Baseball ever again.
Last bit of news. We'll move on from that. We mentioned this too. The murals that we had seen coming up in LA right after the World Series. There was a couple murals, depicting the championship. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the taco stand, a taco shop called Vias Tacos. There's one in downtown. They have another second location. They're opening up a third location as well this Sunday, and they did. They had Jonas Never go out, and he depicted the Freddie Freeman, the home run post. So that's going up. Well, yeah, actually, I already did it. So like I said, they're opening up on Sunday, so that's another spot to go hit up. You want to check out a new mural. I don't know if you guys seen that mural. It's been on I know it's been on Jonas's social media, and then Vias Tacos has put it up as well.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. I think it's the only one that's at like sidewalk level, right? All the rest are pretty high up. I hope no idiot gets fancy and tries to tag over it. It's yeah, I mean, hopefully people respect it because it is at ground level. So I mean, I like it. It looks cool. It's beautiful.
One thing I've noticed too is like there's a couple that are like that, and nobody messes with them. I think people know that these things are very important to the city, and most of the time nobody messes with them.
Yeah, Dodgers stuff is like usually I don't see when I drive around. They like Kobe style, right? Like they don't get messed with, and so there's a certain respect that people of Los Angeles do have for most of our murals. So I'm excited for another one to go up because I think it just gives pride to our city. And right now, Dodgers are at an all-time high. Like it's the golden age, so that's super exciting.
Yeah, the murals are a way to identify like Los Angeles. Yeah. It's always like murals, whether it's Venice or other parts of the city, downtown. It's always cool to stop by and like see someone's artwork. I know there's like a Kobe mural, 2 of them like nearby me. A few Dodger ones as well too. I've only seen them on social media, but hopefully when I start going down to the ravine, I can see more on my drive down there. It's always cool.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, that's one of the things I want to go out and just kind of just get footage of them and pictures of them all and kind of just post them and hopefully we can put something like that up on the YouTube for everybody to check out, especially people that aren't around LA or in that general area and can't actually go out there. There's a lot of talented artists that are doing these murals. I mean, just to make them, I mean, they look, when you see them, like, I mean, they're pretty like, lifelike, right? I mean, especially so big, right? And you see all the facial features, you see it. It's like, wow, that's pretty dope to be able to draw on that, especially on that big of a canvas, right? Not just like, doing this in my sketchbook, right? But yeah, really, really, really cool. But before we go ahead and wrap this up, we'll just get to Lalo's total win.
All right, total wins and total walkouts.
we'll revisit this at towards the end of the season. So Lalo, so what
All right, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
walk-offs. I'm gonna say 5, and total wins. I'm gonna say 118.
118, right? So we're gonna break the record.
118. Let's break the record. Not purposefully. I don't think they're gonna try to do it. It's just gonna happen.
Okay. I'm going with 6 walk-offs. Okay. And no, we're not going to break the record, but we're winning the division and we're winning the World Series again. So I'm going to go with 111 wins. So 111 and 6.
Right. Respectable. Anthony?
I'm going to go with 7 walk-offs, and I'm going to go with 110 wins. 110.
All right. Raj, what do you got, Raj? You can't go one lower.
Right.
You see, like, for me, I mean, if I don't really care, right, if they get the 100 wins, if they break the record 100, like, obviously that to me isn't important.
Right.
It's those wins, right, in October, right, getting those wins in October, right. And the way I debate about this, like, yeah, would it be cool if they broke the record? Yeah, it'd be cool, right? They break the single season record, right, to have that. And I think Miguel Rojas was talking about this. He was saying they're going to win a ridiculous amount of games too. But
yeah,
I think if they're just playing their games, right, and they're winning, right?
Yeah,
110 wins or so, something like that, right? But I don't think they shouldn't obviously try and go out there and break that record. Like I said, if they're just winning and they're winning,
I agree.
And now they're there. They're at that. They're right on there to break the record. Then okay, cool, right? They got it.
Give us that number, Raj.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say I'm gonna go about 108.
All right. Cool. Raj is on the low end. I'm on the high end, and we'll revisit this towards the end of the season. All right.
And walk-offs, I'll go like 3.
3. Oh wow, super low end.
Yeah.
Look at you. Wow, they're going to be scarce this year. I'm pretty sure.
We write this down because we have to come back and visit this at the end. But
I feel like the walk-offs are always like the Sunday day game as well too, because it's usually like the second lineup, and there's like 0-0 in like the 8th.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the expectations there, and the expectation was there last year, right? But then obviously all those injuries, and I think the Dodgers this year they're looking at it, with the reinforcements with the pitching. But if this team stays healthy and guys play like they should, they're going to be a scary team. I mean, looking back at that Cubs series, earlier this week, I feel like the Cubs didn't match up with them at all. Like Dodgers just felt so much better. Like even like when the Cubs were threatening or they scored a runner here too, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Like it kind of reminded me, and I kind of felt the same way in the playoffs, like against the Mets, that Mets series. I felt like no way Dodgers losing the series. And kind of when they're playing the Cubs, like just the Dodgers felt so much better than the Cubs. Like you see them, like these guys are just so much better. They don't compare. So, I mean, I don't know how it's going to be like obviously against the rest of the league and, teams coming for the Dodgers, right? Because they're going to get in a dogfight. They're going to have those times where they're going to struggle, or guys might get hurt. So, highs and there's always lows. So, definitely keep that in mind.
All right. I'm ready for the season. I'm ready for the soap opera. And, by the time we meet up again next week, we'll have a few games under our belt, the opening season.
Well, we got 2. We got 2, so 2-0.
Well, okay. The home openers, and I'll report in about the exhibition game on Tuesday. So I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. It's time for Dodger baseball, boys.
Yeah, it's time for Dodger baseball. Yeah.
All right, so it's gonna go ahead and wrap this guy up, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys next time after we'll be in full swing in the season, on that path to repeat. So looking forward to it. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys next time.